Welcome back to Go Travel Now, as we get set to explore the history of Monterey Cannery Row. Cannery Row is a historic waterfront street in Monterey, California that was once a thriving hub of the sardine canning industry. Let's take a journey through its fascinating history. In the early 1900s, the Monterey Bay Area experienced a boom in the sardine fishing industry. The local waters were teeming with sardines, and this led to the establishment of several canneries along the waterfront. Cannery Row quickly transformed into a bustling industrial district. The author John Steinbeck immortalized Cannery Row in his famous 1945 novel of the same name. Steinbeck's novel depicted the lives of the workers in the vibrant, sometimes gritty atmosphere of the area during its heyday. This literary work helped solidify Cannery Row's place in cultural history. In the mid-20th century, overfishing led to the decline of the sardine population in Monterey Bay. The canneries began to close one by one, and by the 1970s, most of them had shut down. This period marked the decline of Cannery Row's industrial activity. As we look ahead of us, this is the original Monterey Canning Company warehouse. On February 24, 1978, the old Monterey Canning Company reduction plant was burned to the ground. Although it is an entirely new structure, the building was rebuilt to appear as it did prior to the fire. As you walk, you will pass between the Monterey Canning Company warehouse to your left and the Monterey Canning Company Cannery and Rebuilt Reduction Plant to your right. Both buildings are distinguished by their Mission Revival false front. The first cannery in Monterey, F.I. Booth's Crescent brand sardine cannery, was built next to Fisherman's Wharf primarily for canning salmon. The first major cannery to spring up away from the wharf was Pacific Fish Company in 1908. World War I brought a huge demand for canned sardines, and from 1915 to 1918, Monterey canned sardines production went from 75,000 cases of sardines to 1.4 million cases. Corrugated canneries were popping up all over the rocky coast of Monterey Bay, and Cannery Row was in full swing. Recognizing the historical and cultural significance of Cannery Row, efforts were made to revitalize the area as a tourist destination. The remaining cannery buildings were renovated and transformed into shops, restaurants, and hotels. Today, Cannery Row is a bustling waterfront area that attracts visitors from all over the world. At the end of the Monterey Canning Company building, turn right and keep walking alongside the building. Just ahead on your right is Bargetto Winery Tasting Room. The original Bargetto family winery opened in 1910 in San Francisco and relocated to Soquel, just north of here, at the onset of Prohibition in 1917. The next generation introduced modern technology to the business, and the winery sourced grapes from the Santa Cruz Mountains. Ahead of us is Treasure Hunt. The ride is an immersive dark ride adventure. Through storytelling and creativity, guests find themselves in the middle of an original pirate tale. The adventure begins as they learn about the notorious pirate Captain Hippolyte Bouchard. The ride is the result of a first-ever collaboration between globally recognized theme fabrication experts, Daniels Woodland, and internationally acclaimed family ride creators, Sally Dark Rides. There are a total of 40 shops in the plaza. There is something for just about everyone, from Candyland, Monterey Mine Market, Monterey Bay Harley-Davidson, to the Spirit of Monterey Wax Museum. On the second floor of this building, there is a Great Bay overlook that opens at 11 a.m. As we leave the Monterey Canning Company, we are met with another famous Hollywood icon, Forrest Gump or the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company. The story of Bubba Gump Shrimp Company began in 1996, debuting on Cannery Row in Monterey, California, as the first and only casual restaurant chain based on a motion picture property. Forrest, what's the best advice you ever got?
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Forrest, what do you have there next to the bench?
They was my magic shoes.
Really, why do you care so much about those shoes?
There's an awful lot you can tell about a person by their shoes. Where they going, where they been.
Time to continue with our walk. With Bubba Gump behind you, turn right and walk toward the entrance to the exceptional Sea Restaurant, where every seat offers a stunning view of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. The restaurant is part of the Intercontinental Clement Monterey Hotel. The Intercontinental Hotel to your right was the D.L. Canning Company, cannery, and the buildings across the street were its warehouse. The Intercontinental Clement Monterey Hotel was built atop the site of the original Westgate Sun Harbor Cannery and Cannery warehouses that were demolished by the fires of the 1950s. This stylish waterfront hotel was built in a similar design as the original buildings and opened in 2008. One of the highlights of Cannery Row is the Monterey Bay Aquarium, which opened in 1984. The aquarium is housed in a former Hobden Cannery building and is renowned for its marine exhibits and conservation efforts. The Monterey Bay Aquarium is the most admired aquarium in the United States, a leader in science education and a global voice for ocean conservation through active programs in marine science and public policy. Everything they do works in concert to protect the future of our ocean. In the late 1970s, a group of marine scientists affiliated with Stanford University and Silicon Valley crafted a vision for what was to become the world-class Monterey Bay Aquarium. They imagined a small aquarium devoted to the diversity and beauty of life in the waters just offshore, built inside a derelict cannery from the industrial heyday of the sardine packing era, immortalized by author John Steinbeck. After 6 years of planning and funded by $55 billion personal gift from David and LaSalle Packard, their vision became reality on October 20, 1984. The aquarium opened its doors in a state-of-the-art building on the ocean's edge on Monterey's historic Cannery Row. The admission price for entry is $59.95 for an adult and $49.95 for youth. You can become a member for $95 for an individual, which gives you access to free admission for 1 full year along with other benefits. As we head back to the main center of Cannery Row, we have plenty of great seafood restaurant to grab a bite to eat. During the famous Cannery Row Steinbeck era, fish hoppers played an important role on the Monterey Peninsula. The fish hoppers, large square wooden boxes, were anchored off the shores of Cannery Row to receive the fish caught by Monterey's premier fishing fleet. Fishing boat captains guided their overburdened vessels to empty their catches into the fish hoppers floating in the Monterey Bay outside of each cannery. The fish were scooped into the fish hoppers, which were connected to the weight scales by a large pipe. After being pumped into the cannery, the fish were weighed and then sent to the processing plants. Today, the Fish Hopper restaurant features prime rib steak, fresh locally caught seafood, pasta, and a children's menu, with a view of fascinating marine life and beautiful waves crashing over the rocks. Efforts have been made to preserve the historical character of Cannery Row. Many buildings have plaques that provide information about their history, and there are interpretive displays that share the story of the area's transformation. Throughout the year, Cannery Row hosts events and festivals that celebrate its history, marine life, and culture. These events often feature live music, food, and activities for visitors of all ages. Ahead and to the right of us is the Sardine Factory restaurant. Every city has that one can't-miss restaurant where celebrities feel at home and every other guest feels like a celebrity. Since October 1968, the Sardine Factory Cache has made dining in our historic Cannery Row, setting a tradition for world leaders, sports heroes, and entertainment icons. Voted Best Restaurant in Monterey by Monterey County Herald readers, celebrating over 54 years under the same ownership and management. As we enter the famous walking and biking trail of Cannery Row, there are plenty of shops for bike and kayak rentals at the Steinbeck Plaza 1. And that concludes our guided history tour of Monterey Cannery Row at our final destination on this road trip. As you walk along the waterfront, take a moment to appreciate the layers of history and culture that have shaped this vibrant and iconic location. If you do enjoy this content, please remember to like and subscribe. Click on the link below and we'll see you next time on Go Travel Now.